We definitely were surprised that this bill would go so incredibly far and have so many points that were bad with it. I mean, it's one thing we approved, or the Democrats approved, hormone replacement therapy last year for 16 and 17-year-olds, but to push it this far, to include surgeries, to include taking a child and not even returning them to their parents with another state asking the law enforcement to, it just is absolutely insane and over the line.
Yeah, and just the lack of transparency or communication with parents involving a medical procedure for their own children without their knowledge. I mean, when you just break it down like that, David, it's just so shocking. Why is this happening? And realistically, could it happen in the state of Maine?
Well, it sure can happen, and I just can't believe that we are faced with this. They could literally take your child from you in any of all of the 50 states. So this is a national, going to affect our country. Bring them here, give them puberty blockers, perform sexual reassignment surgery, and it does not say how old. It does not define. It just says take the child. So we could determine it could be 5 years, 10 years old, 12, 15. Makes no sense. This should not be a partisan issue. This should be, a bipartisan issue. All legislators in the Maine State Legislature should absolutely vote this down.
State Rep Smith, can I go back to you on this one here? Let's dive into the bill for our viewers to understand out of Maine here. Again, this is from Democrat state representatives pushing it forward. It says this: the bill authorizes a court to take temporary jurisdiction because a child has been unable to obtain gender-affirming health care or gender-affirming mental health care, taking children from their parents if they don't allow gender transition therapies and surgeries. Again, thoughts there on the parents in Maine at this time? I mean, it seems as if this bill is really going after them as well. Do you see it that way?
Absolutely. It's frightening. It's frightening for parents to think that a child can start to be groomed by someone on one of these social media outlets, TikTok, Instagram. We know that happens to people who are experiencing gender dysphoria, and they could lose their child. It should be noted, our foster care system is in shambles here in Maine. Children die in our foster care system all the time, and they want to put more kids in it. I mean, parents have lost rights in Maine to their children, and this is really just going another step. It's insane. And the Democrats have a supermajority. This absolutely could pass. As much as we fight, they have a supermajority. If we don't make sure they know that this is absolutely unacceptable, we'll lose, and it will be a problem, a serious problem.
You know, our viewers are probably familiar with stories of children who had been convinced that they were a different gender than what they were born as, and they'd undergone these therapies and in some cases surgeries, and they've come to regret that decision. Detransitioners. And so, State Rep Haggan, have you heard from those voices? Are they being heard during this process when it comes to actually seeing this new legislation proposed?
Some of them have. They've reached out. I've listened to many people talk about how their lives are destroyed. They're ruined, and there's no coming back once this happens, as we all know. And to think that this bill would have taxpayers of Maine paying for it, I can't fathom that. Also, law enforcement is in the bill supposed to stand down. This has to take the lowest priority for law enforcement in respecting all other 49 states' wishes to return their child without this type of care.
Just what you pointed out, that Democrats holding supermajority there, is there a shot? It's not a long shot of getting this passed. That's a big point to make. David Haggan, Katrina Smith, both state representatives against that bill in Maine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.